Today's episode of the Bill Simmons Podcast is brought to you by SeatGeek, our presenting sponsor, as well as my favorite app for purchasing tickets to sporting events, concerts, and whatever else. Download the free SeatGeek app, use promo code BS, get a $20 rebate off your first SeatGeek purchase. Unfortunately, you couldn't get a seat for Sal freaking out about the Ronda Rousey loss, but we're going to get to that. Every purchase is backed by a 100% guarantee. It's the best and smartest way to buy tickets. Again, download the free SeatGeek app and enter promo code BS. Today's episode of the BS Pod is also brought to you by Fuego Box. Are you tired of corporate supermarket chains and their boring, generic hot sauces? I know I am. If so, step up your game with Fuego Box. It's a hot sauce club that delivers boxes of small batch and gourmet hot sauces right to your doorstep. We might have to put on YouTube a video of our friend Brad eating Fuego Box hot sauces and just having basically a near heart attack because he would love Fuego Box. He loves hot sauce.
Oh yeah, that's YouTube. Yeah.
Go to fuegobox.co and use code BILL for $10 off your first box. That's fuegobox.co, promo code BILL for $10 off the best hot sauces you have probably never heard of. And we're off. Yeah. Very excited for this one. I'm more excited for this Monday pod than any Monday pod we've done so far.
Why?
Incredible Pats-Giants game.
Yeah.
Your Cowboys have completely fallen apart.
We don't even have to talk about that.
The biggest upset in female sports history. The door just opened. Can you talk for a second while I close the door?
Yeah. By the way, the big upset, obviously. First of all, how is 9-1 the biggest upset in UFC history? It didn't even say women's. 9-1. The sport's been around for
Nobody's ever been a 9-1 favorite?
Like, yeah, well, that sounds crazy to me, but everyone reported that. And the biggest upset, not that we'll even spend a minute on this, New Mexico was a 39.5-point underdog to Boise State football.
And won?
Saturday. And won. And so
what is going on? Is the world ending?
65-1 odds.
And the Lions beat the Packers in Lambeau?
Yeah, right. That was
quickly, before we get into this podcast, some house cleaning. You can subscribe to the Bill Simmons Podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, or Stitcher. And by the way, if you're an iTunes guy or gal, leave us a review on the podcast. You can praise us. You can insult us. You can complain about how I'm biased for the Boston sports teams. I don't care. Actually, I do care.
I don't think you think people. You think they'll give a review? I don't know.
Just give some reviews. People, all these other podcasts have reviews. All these nerds are reviewing all the NPR podcasts.
I don't know. People like to stick to themselves. I don't think they like to comment.
You don't think? All right, let's talk about Rousey first, really quick. Did you pay for that fight?
So, well, depends how you mean. No, I didn't, because I figured it was going to be over. I was going to catch the 6-second, the vine that was going around of her knockout in the first round. But I put together a substantial parlay with two football winners, like Michigan State. Then I had Golden State money line over the Nets, which, as Rousey was coming to the ring, they should have lost in regulation, but they won in overtime. I
actually saw that game.
You did, right?
It was a ludicrous win.
Right.
The Nets win that game 99 out of 100 times.
Draymond Green takes a 3-counter. It's stupid. So I'm like, that's it. I got this, Ronda Rousey. And then she just got the crap kicked out of her like no one's business.
I don't know enough about MMA to know what happened in that fight, but it really did seem like she had no game plan whatsoever. Right. It reminded me of Mike Tyson in Japan just stumbling around with like his two buddies in the corner.
That's what it was.
This girl just hit her over and over again with her left.
But that's kind of what we always thought that MMA would be. Didn't we always think, a good boxer will take out an all-around fighter just out of quickness and everything? And I know she knocked her out with a spinning back kick or something, but
which didn't totally connect. I don't know how that
hit her in the neck.
Her hitting her head.
Yeah, but she got pounded with the fist.
Oh yeah,
before that.
But why can't I don't understand enough about MMA, and I'm sure this will make people mad because MMA people don't like anyone talking about MMA unless you know all the moves and stuff.
Don't comment on the.
Don't comment on MMA. No. I don't understand if I thought the person on the ground could always beat the boxer. Like, they just have to get them on the ground and then they can do stuff.
If they could get them on the ground, yeah.
But why couldn't Rousey just figure out how to get her?
She went toe-to-toe, yeah.
Why? It seemed like she was totally happy to box her, which I didn't get.
She's beaten the hell out of women before, just toe-to-toe. But this, she was a boxing champ she's going against.
Well, I'm very excited for the rematch. This has to be the greatest thing that could have happened in the UFC.
Right.
And the other thing, we talked about it. We were texting about this. I did the Phil Simms. We talked about it yesterday when we were texting.
I get tons of tweets and everything that say we have ruined football for people who have to watch Phil Simms now twice a week. We just ruined it.
Well, Phil Simms, it might be over for him.
Really?
It really might be over. The Pats drive yesterday, he talked about how Tom Brady played it perfectly. The first play of the drive was a throw to two guys, and the guy just dropped the interception. The game's over. It was like one of the 5 worst throws of his career.
Yeah, it was bad. Because if he didn't get it, the guy behind him was getting it. Like, he just lets that go. Yeah.
So we talked about yesterday on texting, and Sal, we talked about this. That UFC, it's like they build up these invincible champs, and then like right around the 3rd or 4th fight where they're totally invincible, they just get upset and they lose. And we should remember this for gambling purposes.
Yeah, and I think it's because they're on their game, UFC, because they're not like pro boxing where you'll spread out a rematch or just a great fight for what could have been a great fight. I don't know if it was ever going to be great. Pacquiao Mayweather, but you know, that took 10 years. Like UFC, you have an opponent, then you have another one 4 months later, and that's it. And like you can't go 2 years without being undefeated.
Yeah, it does seem in boxing, it seems like the right person wins almost all the time.
Right.
You might get the lucky punch every once in a while, but for the most part, like Mayweather's going to be Pacquiao 8 or 9 out of 10 times. UFC does seem more random.
Right.
You know, but Rousey was messed up after that fight. Her face was like really beat up. Felt bad for her.
I think they should fight. The rematch should be like at a Black Friday thing. They put hair extensions on. They just go for the last hoverboard on the shelf, and that's it. Last woman standing. Do it.
All right, Giants, Pats. Tough spot for you. 2 teams you hate.
I know. I was like, the podcast will be so much better if the Patriots lose, but how could I root for these Giants?
I don't understand how Brady was able to pull off a final drive with no Deion Lewis and no Edelman.
Here we go.
It's just amazing. I mean, granted, the drive started with a dropped interception, so I'm not going to praise him too much, but that had to have been one of the only drives in his career to win a game where he had no third down back. The third down back thing's a real thing. I don't think people have paid enough attention to it.
But you have Amendola fill that void. You have LaFell and Gronkowski. That's as good or better than most teams, I think.
Amendola and LaFell?
Sure, why not?
That's a below average 1-2 combo.
Look at these other teams. What are they doing it with?
That's true. I guess it's as good as Carolina.
Brandon Cooks. Like, I don't know.
They took out Gronk. They were triple teaming him.
Yeah.
But
look, you're king of the hill. You're the best team by far. There's no doubt.
It's a long season.
It's not a long season. This long season is over for many of these teams. I think you're on top.
I think you do. There's an anger to you that I don't like.
Well, that's always going to be like this. What am I going to do? But
the Giants lost. That's good for you.
Good use of time, Tom Coughlin. They ran like 4 plays in 19 seconds.
Incredible.
How do you not know you're leaving Tom Brady too much time there?
Why do you run the quick pass timing pattern with 2:06 left until the time?
Yeah.
It was impossible for us to get the ball as fast as we got the ball. We had the 2-minute warning and timeout, first down with 2:06 left. The first down play has to get to the 2-minute warning. Just has to. I don't care what the play is. You have to get to the 2-minute warning.
Absolutely.
Second down play, you run it. We have to call a timeout.
Yeah.
And then third down, whatever happens, shouldn't have played out the way it played out. That was terrible.
It was.
I actually had a lot of faith that they were going to screw that up. I was watching it. I remember thinking to myself, if anyone can give us the ball back with like 100 seconds left, it's the Giants. And they did.
I get dozens of these, so you must get thousands of these. People telling you, oh, you're so arrogant thinking you're better than all these coaches. Well, of course we're not. We're not good at scheming, and we're not good at, player placement. Stuff like that will never be as good as the current coaches. But as far as time management goes, I think we are. I don't think it is being arrogant. I think we watch every game. We watch 8 games in the morning. We watch thousands of games. That's what we have over these other coaches. Or else, what's the explanation otherwise?
I think we're both better than Rob Ryan, though.
Yeah.
I really do think I could have a better defense.
I think
just give me like a week to be like, all right, guys, so Kirk Cousins, so here's what we're going to do. I feel like we could do better.
They let him go. They let him go like an hour before this podcast tape. But he says he'll be working in 5 minutes.
Well, shouldn't one of these TV networks throw him on immediately?
Yeah.
Couldn't he be with Berman?
I think he could do that.
Berman teach, Rob.
He's got the look for it, unless Chipotle gives him a better offer. I don't know where he's going to work, this guy.
Well, here's what I think with time management. You know how when we're getting ready in the morning and our kids are going to school, everybody's running around, or you're trying to feed the kids quick. Did you remember your knapsack, all that stuff?
Oh,
and then occasionally the wife will leave the house and somebody's knapsack is still in the house.
Right.
Maybe that's what it's like for Tom Coughlin on the sideline. He's trying to figure out all these different things. He's like, oh, I totally forgot to not run that play to the 2-minute warning. I'm so stupid.
I like that. Yeah. He forgot he has kids
frazzled.
that are going to school. Yeah, I know. I understand.
Did you think that was a catch?
No, I don't think so. Here's the thing. I don't think it was based on everything else. I think at some point it should be a catch. They need to change it. Are you okay with 2 feet down in possession? Because I'm okay with that.
Well, what I don't understand is, so a running back is getting tackled.
Yeah.
And puts the ball over the goal line for a split second. It's a touchdown.
Because he's a runner. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess it makes sense in principle that to catch the ball, you have to establish the possession of the ball.
Right.
And then you're a runner.
Right.
It would seem like Beckham had the ball longer than Cam Newton did on that play yesterday when he reached the ball over the goal line for a split second. And that's the part I don't understand.
Right, I know. One thing should be a bigger touch. Yeah. I just want to understand it. Like, do you know when you're legally parked? Like, if you're 6 inches from the curb and your wheels are turned the right way or whatever, like, yeah, okay, I'm legally parked. I know what that looks like. I just want to know what a catch looks like. And I'm okay with 2 feet down and possession. Now, they say that changes the record books and everything, but who gives a crap? Like, there's so many pass interference calls that weren't made 20 years ago. Like,
don't you... I mean, I would say the rule's working a little bit because when I watched it, I never thought it was a catch.
But that's because in your head...
Because in my head, we had other instances of that not being a catch. So I was like, that's not a catch. They're going to overrule this.
Right.
What was weird was the refs really wanted to make it a catch because they all game they were screwing the Patriots, let's be honest.
They tried. They looked at it.
There were some really shady calls. Was Goodell in the house?
Oh, come on.
Was he in there, though? Was he at the game? I think he was wasn't he? Look.
Which calls? I don't remember. I saw the Giants getting to Brady.
There was one pass interference where Malcolm Butler didn't even touch it. Beckham.
No, that was bad.
Butler versus Beckham was fantastic.
That was fun to watch.
So I had my daughter's last soccer game of her season was yesterday, and it was at 2:20.
2:20.
Pats Giants started at 1:20.
Yeah.
So what do you do if you're me?
Oh man, these days I watched my kid's flag football game, and I had the phone, and I was just watching the end of the Cowboys game on the app. I was just watching the streaming.
Yeah. So I decided to go to the soccer game because I thought, from karma purposes, if I just said, "Sorry, Z, I'm not going,"
right,
then the Pats lose. So I went, and I was like, I'm not going to check the score.
Oh wow.
And Shrifty's there, our friend Shrifty, Giants fan. And at one point, he's giving me the upright sign. And I'm like, oh my. So now I check, and we're down 20-10. But we got in the car, and I got to see the whole fourth quarter. And then I went back and watched.
Right.
And the Edelman.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's not good. It's not good.
You're freaking undefeated.
It's not good.
I don't want to hear about your injuries.
It's not good.
Go ahead.
I think the Bengals are in the driver's seat now. The Pats, I've never felt worse about an undefeated team in mid-November of my life.
It's really silly to say that you're not in the driver's seat, but let's take it by conference.
Why aren't the Bengals in the driver's seat?
Two teams. Which two AFC teams are you most afraid to play in the AFC Championship? Is it the Bengals?
Well, definitely not the Broncos.
Or is it the Steelers? I'm not even including the Broncos anymore.
The Steelers, Ben Roethlisberger, his foot, I thought it had to be amputated a week ago. I watched the game. I was like, my God, he's going to lose his foot. It's going to be like Kerry Von Erich. He's going to have like a fake boot. And then he's back. And then he said today it was because he drank a lot of milk.
He drank milk?
Yeah, he drank a lot of milk.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was good. Wow. Good to know that one.
The greatest relief performance by a quarterback ever. We had like 208, like something crazy coming on in relief.
So they were obviously trying to get through that game without playing him just because the Browns gave up 3 weeks ago.
Right.
The Browns gave up 3 weeks ago, and every week we don't bet against them.
Yeah, but remember we said they were a good first half team? And then, I know.
Now they're not even that anymore.
Yeah. Don't worry. I had the Steelers and Packers on a money line parlay that lost. Don't worry about it.
I have a feeling you any parlays and teases lost this week.
Well, here's the thing. You and I, in the middle of the week, you're like, hey, we should take all the mid-range dogs on the money line. We should do it. And I was like, great, let's do it. But then, and I was even going to bug you about it yesterday, but I was like, you know what? Rousey lost. I got to go with the short things. I got to go Packers, and I should have stopped myself there on a money line with whoever. And that just killed me. But let's take a look at those mid-range underdogs. Jaguars.
Can you give us the Phil Simms setup, though?
Well, go ahead. You do it. What is it?
Sal, we talked about those mid-range underdogs earlier in the week, and we were talking about it.
Jaguars, Lions. We talked about the Titans, Bears, Dolphins, Giants.
We wouldn't have done the Lions, though.
Well, the Lions were 6. Why not?
Did you put the Dolphins in there?
Yeah, those 6. 4 of them won. They were almost all 3-1 odds.
Chiefs were on there, but the Chiefs line just dropped. But
I didn't even say
the Chiefs were on there.
Yeah.
Because they were like 6.
I figured it out. 5 out of those 7 winners, we would have netted $3.71 million.
Wow.
Split, not
It's
each.
like a FanDuel thing?
We'd have to split it, but that's what we would have won.
So we were saying that if we hit 3 of the 7, we'd win because all the odds would be like plus 180 and higher. Mm-hmm. And then it turned out to be more than that. The Broncos thing. So yet again, this happened last year too. Peyton Manning was awful.
Oh, man.
And then Monday morning, Adam Schefter, sources tell Adam Schefter, and there's some injury that explains why Peyton Manning was so terrible. And then it happened again today. Last time this happened, they said he had it was like a torn quad muscle.
Right.
And then the Denver beat reporter said, no, it's not a torn quad. My sources say it's just a strain. And there was like a he said, she said thing about. So it does seem like Manning, and I don't blame him for this, but every time he's terrible, all of a sudden the injury news comes out 12 hours later.
No, but it came out like Friday or Saturday. Or the line went from 6.5 to 4 because of his ribs. It came out
that he was a little banged up.
His ribs, and then now this
But
foot.
now it's like he's torn. Yeah, he's got a torn plantar fasciitis thing going on in his foot. He had it the whole time. Why do they even have injury reports?
Right, I know. Everybody's hurt. Yeah.
But just tell us. Tell us. Why not tell us earlier? This is why gambling's not legal, because there'd be a class action suit against people that bet the Broncos.
You're right. And there should be. But let me ask you, is Peyton Manning the most overrated and underrated player of all time? I put Derek Jeter, and you're Larry Bird.
Derek
in there
Jeter.
Too.
Larry Bird? What are you talking about?
I think
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
I can't believe I got a reaction.
What are you talking about?
Most overrated and underrated. Bird. Yeah. People say he's the greatest of all time.
He won 3 titles.
Is he the greatest of all time?
3 straight MVPs.
Everyone in Boston says he's top two players of all time.
He's the greatest forward ever until LeBron started playing 100 games a year. It's ridiculous.
All right, so it's not Larry Bird. It's not the most over and underrated player.
But I think the Jeter case is not bad.
And Peyton's right there. I think.
Cal Ripken Jr. I think is up there.
Interesting. Over and under.
But
interesting. All right.
With Manning, though, I mean, are you blown away with surprise and shock that Peyton Manning couldn't last 10 weeks?
No.
He's 40 years old. He's had 4 neck surgeries, and he can't move anymore. And I mean, this was where this was headed.
Sure, but 2 weeks ago he demolished the Packers, who are no longer great, as we say. But he was back. Like football's week to week with this stuff.
I know, but remember we were saying how they should just not even play him till November.
Manning,
just sit him out.
Yeah,
just sit him out September, October.
Right.
Try to just go 4-4.
Right.
And then try to go 10 weeks with Manning. I think that's the move with him.
Yeah.
It's like when the Astros with Clemens those last 2 years. Remember
true.
They would just bring him in June.
They were smart about it. So maybe he should be on a pitch count like Harvey was for a little bit. Like 4 passes. That's it.
Am I allowed to start getting excited about the Chiefs AFC West bet that we made in August for plus 300?
I don't know.
I'm not allowed to get excited about that yet.
2 back? What are
They're
they?
3 back.
3 back.
But they've beaten Denver.
Right. And they really should have beat them was that Thursday night game, week 2, 3 or whatever
so they
it was.
split with them.
Yeah.
San Diego's a catastrophe. Mm-hmm. The Raiders have now been exposed. Mm-hmm. And who's the other team? Oh, yeah, in Denver. And KC. Why can't KC win that division?
They could be good.
Do I need to go through the schedule? Do I need to bring Dog out?
I think we're out already, though. It's 10.
What do you mean
Broncos play the Patriots. All right, I'll look at the Broncos schedule.
Hold on. Let me give you the Chiefs.
All right.
At San Diego Sunday night.
That is That's not a Sunday night anymore. It's a late afternoon.
Oh, it got tweaked?
It got moved because the Chargers are that bad. But
at San Diego, home for Buffalo, at Oakland, home for San Diego, at Baltimore, home for Cleveland and Oakland.
Man.
They might run the slate.
Wow, yeah.
They go 10-6 or 11-5.
I didn't realize that. I think they go 5-2 out of those 7. Is that 7 left?
Denver's got at Chicago next week with Brock Osweiler, or whatever his name. What's his name?
It's
Brock Osweiler?
Yeah, Osweiler.
Brooke Osweiler?
Watch him win the game.
What's his name?
Know. Brock
Osweiler. He's starting next week.
I know.
And then they're home for the Pats, at San Diego, home for Oakland, at Pittsburgh. Cincy Monday night.
They play a first place
home
schedule.
in Denver, and then San Diego. They could lose the Chicago. They could lose the Pats. They
end up 11-5. So Chiefs have to go.
They could go 10-6. Could be 10-6.
Maybe. Who's that last game? Denver.
Home for the San Diego Chargers.
Yeah, that could be the one they need to win.
Can I do a Skip Bayless hot take?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Peyton Manning, Stephen A.
No,
I'm not accusing Peyton Manning of anything. I'm just pointing this out. Peyton Manning knew he was hurt. He needed 4 more yards for the record. And he played anyway. He put his team in danger. He knew he shouldn't have played, Stephen A. He knew it.
That's true.
It's a selfish act by a selfish guy.
I like that. Now we have to show a cutaway that would never appear on any other TV show of Skip Bayless listening to Stephen A's response.
Yeah. All right. Before we do the Week 11 lines.
Yeah.
So many people try to protect themselves with home security systems, and they end up getting ripped off. They write huge checks. They sign long-term contracts that don't give them any outs. So why get ripped off, Sal?
You shouldn't.
I mean, we got ripped off all weekend with gambling.
How do we not get Tell us how we not get ripped off.
Well, you don't have to deal with pushy salespeople and outrageous price tags if you go to Simply Safe, I'll tell you that much. Different from all the other companies. No sales pressure, no gotchas, no long-term contracts. It won't take you months and months to get your home safe and secure. You get 24/7 protection for just $15 a month. That's less than half what most companies charge. Even better, you get their award-winning professional monitoring. They sent me a box. Super easy.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't even that big of a box. You just set up your little whatever.
I feel pretty safe right now, I do have to say.
Thank you. Protect your home with an alarm I trust. Visit simplysafebill.com and get an exclusive 10% off just because you listen to the Bill Simmons podcast. They're our friends. They keep you safe. simplysafebill.com. All right, Week 11.
Here we go.
I didn't do that well in Week 10, and I think we have now hit the point of the season where pretty much everyone could beat everyone every week.
Yeah.
And we just have to be prepared emotionally for that. I don't feel good about any team.
I don't either. And these lines they fly all over the place. And like we said, they're no longer on the 3s or the 6s or the 7s.
Oh, my God.
It's 1 and 2. Well, I don't want to ruin it for
How about yesterday? I mean, there was like, what was it? There was an 18-16?
Yeah.
When have we ever had an 18-16 game?
Right.
These scores are ridiculous.
Can I just say, before we get into this, it was a mess. Arizona was my best bet, my TV best bet. But I was so disillusioned by the end of the day. I was like, I'm not taking them. This is a big mess. So what everyone says is the under in the first half of the primetime games is 23-6 in the first half.
Wow.
So I said, all right, Seattle, Arizona, I'll take it under. That's my bounce back game. I'm doing it first half, under 22. It's 5-0. 5-0 with 8 minutes left in the second quarter. And that freaking half goes over, 22-7. No one's trying to score. Carson, they're handing off. It's ridiculous. Seattle's getting 2 holding calls, a drive and punting. 5-0, and I lose 22-7. And then the best bet wins, Arizona.
I feel like after we finish this podcast, we're gonna be walking out, and you're gonna ask me for a loan because you got demolished this weekend. Did you get demolished this weekend?
Yeah, it was a bad weekend. I blame Ronda Rousey and Simply Safe.
You know what? Maybe
they weren't there for me.
Simply Safe could have protected you.
They should have protected me.
They should add a gambling protection wing to the alarm system. Yeah, the Ronda Rousey. You're no longer allowed to throw in minus 800 UFC fighters into your parlays.
I think you're right.
I'm banning you from that.
I might be done.
All right, let's do Week 11. Thursday night is just an electric game that we'll be telling our grandkids about someday.
Yeah.
Tennessee at Jacksonville.
And the colorblind suffered Thursday, and I think the actual blind will be better off this Thursday. This is the best case scenario. This is bad.
I loved how mad the colorblind people got about those uniforms.
They're furious.
They were really, and I don't blame them.
Who
How do you watch that game if you're colorblind? They had two dark uniforms.
Yeah, dark
and then
red.
And then the NFL, instead of being profusely apologetic, the NFL's like, yeah, we're going to look into that.
Right.
It's like, oh, thanks.
We had no idea.
As usual. Well, 3 years from now, we'll have an answer on what to do because that's how we roll.
Did you pick this? What did you say?
I had the Jags -4, and I like the Jags.
I said Jags -6, and it's 3. So you get this one. But the Jags are 3-6, Tennessee 2-7. The Jags are better, and they're home, and it's 3. They're considered even otherwise. That's not right, is it?
Was there a worse loss this year than Baltimore's loss yesterday?
For a decade, I think. That was insane.
I thought the Giants in week 1 was the worst loss of the year, and the Ravens, nobody cares because they were like 2-7 when they were 2-6. But that was the worst. Like if you had the Ravens money line in that game, you're still walking around in a fog.
Right. It had a professional wrestling element to it where Bortles takes the snap and falls. And it falls. Like if he doesn't fall, it's over too. Probably.
Well, and also don't forget the part. It seemed like they snapped after
a
the
little
clock,
after the zeros.
but then they showed it, and it was like a
so
split
close.
second before.
So close, he got it off, and then Doomerville comes, doesn't even really need to touch him, and then just yanks him around by the face mask, puts him in field goal range. To the guy who missed, this Myers, and he cranks it in.
Ludicrous. Because even if he doesn't face mask him and Bortles is just running around trying to make a play, the time would have run out anyway. What is he going to do?
Right,
He's going to run around, point his feet, and just throw a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
Awful. But the Ravens deserve it because they blew the whistle on the Patriots, and all bad things that happen to them I approve of.
The Jaguars aren't bad. They're a feisty team.
They are. Bortles is... You know what I like about Bortles? He can throw a terrible pass, and he's fine. The next drive, he
comes back, and Hearns and Robinson, they're big... They're playmakers, not terrible.
These are the people who will be deciding fantasy leagues in week 15 and 17. Hearns, Robinson, and Bortles.
You're not kidding. But I should mention New Orleans, Giants, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland on the bye. This is the last bye week of the year. And that's it. Thanks to the NFL. They gave us 9 early games and 2 late afternoon games. Thanks again, NFL.
That's great.
Good job by you.
How were the Pats and the Giants not the national game yesterday?
That was weird, wasn't it? It wasn't a national game, and yet Sims and Nance called it, right?
Yeah.
That was strange. And, as much as I hate the Giants, I think if you lose in the last-second field goal to the Patriots, you should be given your division. I think the Giants should win the division just based on losing to the Patriots on the last-second field goal.
It is so funny how in football that, like, the first time we played them in the Super Bowl was, 8 years ago? 8.5 years ago? And yet the Giants and their fans still feel like we can beat the Patriots.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter who's on whose team. There's just... In football, you have these teams you just feel like you can beat. The Giants go in, they have a ton of confidence.
Yeah, but you felt that too on the other side, right?
I was nervous the whole time, yeah. That's our arch rival now. It's weird. It's weird to have an arch rival in the other conference.
Yeah, you play every 4 years unless it's the Super Bowl. Yeah,
because it used to be the Colts, but then now we own the Colts.
Terrible. Dallas at Miami. Here we go.
Oh man,
Tony Romo back. It's a must-loss.
Tony
for the
Romo
Cowboys.
back.
He's playing.
Oh, I'm gonna switch my pick. Dolphins by 3.
I said Dolphins by 2.5.
Yeah.
It's Cowboys by 1.
Ooh.
The 2-7 Cowboys.
So you've not won a game since Greg Hardy showed up.
Oh yeah. Before that even. Yeah.
He's like the lost character that everybody hates on the message boards, and then they figure out a way to kill them off. That's right. He'll be on the will he be on the team over under 10.5 more days? Is he on the team 11 days from now?
I think, let's see. I think he plays one game with Romo and Dez and everybody just to see what happens. And then
if they lose that,
you waive meetings. He's fighting with offensive linemen. He's doing all this other stuff during the week too. That's ancillary to all the other horrible stuff. But
when does Vince McMahon hire him? Do you think he'll be ready in time for Royal Rumble in January?
Do you think so?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Get him in there.
He'd be a top 3 villain. They don't have a villain as good as Greg Hardy.
That's true. I like that.
He's come in. I'm not going to apologize for anything I've done. He does that whole thing.
Weren't there Hardy brothers or something in the WWE? Jeff Hardy wasn't.
Oh yeah, he could be the new member of the Hardy brothers.
Jeff Hardy's long lost brother.
They never knew they were related. That should be his next move, though.
Yeah.
Because it seems like he actually embraces the fact that he's a bad human being. He's okay with it. He doesn't care what people think. I'm a bad person. I don't care what you think.
I wonder if Vince McMahon would turn him down for character issues.
I don't think so.
They don't want him.
That'd be funny if he drew the line right there.
That's where it is. Well, we should probably be playing for draft picks at this point. But
what's funny is you're not done yet.
Yeah,
9-7 could still win that division. That's not funny. And the Eagles are atrocious. What a terrible team.
Bad. You look at the Dolphins-Eagles game. It's like, oh, maybe the Dolphins are good. Like, oh no. Don't even count that as any game that you just saw.
What's frustrating about the Eagles is they can do things well. Like they have a good pass rush. They have talent. I wonder if they had a different coach. It feels like that would be maybe an 11-5 team or something.
Chip Kelly, we'll get to that line.
I don't think Chip Kelly's good.
I think everyone's afraid of him, though. Vegas, especially, that keeps making them big favorites and everything. It's very strange to me.
There is no way they should have lost to Miami. I watched a lot of that game. Barnwell came over yesterday. We were watching, and it was almost a turnoff at one point.
Yeah.
And then Miami was kind of lingering, but Miami doesn't have Cameron Wake. Like, they barely have a pass rush. That's not a team you should lose to in Philadelphia. Bradford goes out, which is now a season, that's going to happen once a season. He's going to walk out as some
But
sort
he's
of shoulder
playing
thing.
this week, right? It's the other shoulder and the concussion. Well, what do you think this line is? Oh, this is a different game anyway. Oh, we did this.
I have the Eagles by 6 over Tampa in Philadelphia. Right. So we might as well move to that one.
I said 4.5, and you're right. It's 6.5. But like I said, it really just seems like everyone's just afraid of Chip Kelly exploding with this offense.
I like Tampa. I think Jameis has a little something.
He's got a little
Even though he almost fumbled on the goal line.
No, he did fumble on the goal line.
He did.
And they called holding
they called
the
it back.
Player, even though Jameis had committed to running. Don't even get me started.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. I won't get you started.
You know what it is? Jason Garrett should be fired, but I think Jerry Jones is so old. It's like getting your grandparents to go on a plane or to change from VCR to DVD player. Like, no, we're happy with it. It's like, oh, but your life would be so much easier if you're watching on Blu-ray instead of these tapes that no one makes anymore. It's like, no, just leave me alone. I want to be the way I want to be. That's it. That's why Jason Garrett has a job now.
I think I'm getting that way.
You are?
Yeah. I think I'm starting to move in that direction. My mom was like that with Netflix for like 3.5 years. Just wouldn't do Netflix. We're like, you got to do Netflix. All the movies are on there. These shows, you'll love it. No, I don't know. I can't figure it out. Now she watches everything on Netflix.
Right.
She's like the number one like weird Netflix show person.
Right.
And then the same thing with HBO now. It's like, no, I already have HBO. No, but they have the old series on there. You should do it. No, I can't. I don't know how to log in.
The HBO Now thing you just threw in because you realized you were being a jerk with the Netflix.
No, not at all.
I love it. All right, Jerry Jones, get HBO Now. Let's do it already. St. Louis at Baltimore.
God. I have Baltimore by 1.5 over St. Louis. I have figured out the Rams, though, finally.
It's exactly what I had, 1.5, and it's St. Louis favored by 1.
Okay.
That's 2 road teams, very slight. You figured out the Rams.
I have figured out the Rams.
Have you figured out how we could sell off our Rams to win the NFC bet?
That I have not figured out. We're screwed with that. We're screwed with the Rockets. There's a lot of inner turmoil with the Rockets right now. There's just a lot of bad stuff. We're in bad shape. Bad gambling shape. But we have our Patriots AFC East bet that we're going to win.
Oh, that's true.
So that's going to cover a lot of bets.
How does that lose?
We put a lot of money in that one.
St. Louis, wait a minute. Now they're 35-1. They were 60.
Well, they've lost their last 2 since we bet on them to win the NFC.
Down?
We're in trouble. I have not relaxed.
All right.
I relaxed with the Packers, but
I just think you get Foles, you get down 10 points, and it's bad. It's not going to do it.
That was how I've. Yeah, I think if they're down 7, the game's over.
Yeah.
So Well, really, they're the best real-time gambling team. Like, if you're in Vegas and you can bet on the results as the game's going on.
You get a sense.
Yeah, if they're down 3-0, you just start banging the other team.
3-0.
As soon as the Rams don't have the lead, it's over.
They don't have the ball yet. Yeah.
And,
I agree. And there's Tavon Austin. They try to force like 7 to 10 carries on him, and he'll break one. And then yesterday, twice it was called for penalty. It was brought back. But
now that Rob Ryan's gone, I think Jeff Fisher is the new. Wait a second. Why does he still have a job?
Really? Yeah.
He's been 8-8 for a decade and a half.
I know.
Right,
well, he could blame us as much as we could blame him for betting them. I think that was the problem.
What's sad is that I love the recipe of really good run game, really good defense. And yet I've disparaged the Minnesota Vikings for 4 straight weeks, who have the exact same recipe and do it better than the Rams did.
And beat the Rams last week.
The Rams.
Yeah.
And so where was I in the Vikings?
No, you're right.
All these Viking fans who were like, oh,
now
you keep going against us. All right, well, I'm on your side now, so you can blame me now that I'm picking you.
But let me ask you this. I asked you about the AFC.
Yeah.
NFC, who in the Super Bowl? Patriots, who do you want the opponent to be?
That's why we did that stupid Rams bet.
Arizona, Minnesota. Who are you more afraid of? Arizona, Minnesota, or Carolina?
I thought that was a really important Cardinals game yesterday.
They were damn good.
Because they lose their best run blocking guard. They lose a big lead. They have a bunch of dumb stuff happen. They're in Seattle. That just had all the makings of the classic Seahawks turn their season around. And then they really like throttled them. I was so impressed. Although Seattle's secondary might suck. Is that possible?
Well, I think here's the thing. Always going to be big hits over the middle. Always going to be tough guys. But they're a little thin. They're a little thin now in the secondary. And they don't have the home field advantage. And the Ravens aren't good. And the Packers don't blow anyone out. There's like 5 narratives that we have to just like kind of get rid of from now on. But after the second strip sack of the Seahawks, you thought they were going to win that game by 21 points, right? There's no way Arizona takes 2 80-yard drives to win that game afterwards. That was very impressive.
And also the Seahawks were like +2 with turnovers at home. Mm-hmm. That game should be over.
Right.
They got a defensive touchdown, and I don't know. I'm writing them off. I'm sorry.
The Seahawks?
Yeah.
You don't have to be sorry.
Yeah. I gave them a huge benefit of the doubt, but there's something stinky with that team. So I don't know who the second wild card is.
Well,
you figure Minnesota and Green Bay make it?
Atlanta and Green Bay.
I don't think Atlanta's good.
They might just.
Would you bet your life on Atlanta making the playoffs?
I think 6-3. I think they still play the AFC South and their division.
Let me look at their schedule. Hold on.
I might have written this one down.
Home for Indy, home for Minnesota, at Tampa, at Carolina, at Jacksonville, home for Carolina and New Orleans. God, that's a terrible schedule.
Yeah, there's 4 more wins there, I think.
So if they beat Indy this week, they're probably making the playoffs.
Yeah. They'll get to 10, I think.
Let's do Are we sure the Bears can't make the playoffs?
They're fun to watch. They are
home
fun.
for Denver, at Green Bay on a Thursday. Home for San Francisco, Washington, at Minnesota, at Tampa, home for Detroit.
They don't play Atlanta at all? Like if they play head-to-head with one of these teams, it would help.
No, they didn't play the Falcons this year.
Let's do Denver at Chicago.
Yeah, let's do Denver at Chicago.
This would have been a great game. John Fox, old team.
Brock Cocktoaston's playing. Who's the quarterback?
Brock Osweiler.
Brock Cocktoaston.
Let me see if I have the right line here.
Broncos by 1? I don't know.
This is going to be a mess. Yeah, I said Broncos by 3, and it's 2. Well,
I like the Bears.
We tie anyway.
All right, good.
Adam Gase doing a great job with that offense. Washington and Carolina.
Panthers by 7.5. This could be the game they blow. We've been saying that for 7 straight weeks, but this really does feel like it has the chance to be the game.
You nailed it. 7.5. I said 8.5. You think this is the one, huh? Washington scores a lot.
Should we tease this with Ronda Rousey announcing her retirement from UFC and then changing her mind a month later?
She's not retiring. No way. No way. Carolina's got to be 10-0, and then the Cowboys have to be up winning by 17 against them on Thanksgiving and then blow it, right? That's what's going to happen.
Your Thanksgiving's already ruined and it hasn't even happened yet. At least try to eat some porch pies. Get some porch pies.
Yeah?
I thought Cam Newton acted like a dick when he scored.
Yeah, you did.
He's just a dick to the Tennessee defense.
But Bill,
and then
you know
he's
what?
like, "Hey guys, don't let me score." Then it's like you were acting like a dick for 10 seconds.
I was just gonna say, you don't want me dancing in the end zone? What do you do, Bill? Don't let him get there. Don't let him get there. I listen to 4 sports shows, and they basically just repeated his comment, but made it their own. Don't let him get there, guys. That's how you don't see him dance.
Yeah, but you know what though? You do that stuff, and then all of a sudden somebody's crackback blocking you on a pick when you're not looking because you're a dick.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think there's any reason. He's probably the MVP leader right now. Him and Brady, right?
Yeah, it's those two.
Maybe Carson Palmer.
Let's see. I love Carson Palmer. I really do. I think he's. Let's see. Wait. Brady minus 200, Cam plus 280, Carson Palmer 10-1. Andy Dalton 12-1, Rodgers 15-1,
Rodgers,
Peterson 50-1.
Oh,
Peterson,
Peterson, if he ran
reels off a few more of those 80-yarders,
could he get to 2,000 yards? What if they're a 2 seed and he gets to 2,000 yards?
Yeah, 50-1.
Boy, that'll
we have
be
to do that. That would be a good way to jinx the Vikings.
Speech.
We could do that. All right, Oakland at Detroit.
Wait till the all the people who love to get outraged about stuff. Peterson winning the MVP would be a good one.
Yeah, yeah.
You might be the most valuable player, Adrian, but you're not the most valuable person. I'll tell you that much. A lot of that. The outrage society will hate that.
Valuable man. Oakland at Detroit. What do we have?
Maybe you should donate your trophy. Oakland, I can't even find it. Oh, I have them favored by 1.5 in Detroit.
Come
I know
on.
I'm wrong.
No, you're exactly right. How do you pick that?
The Lions are terrible.
I
lost
threw my hands up. I said that's a pick. You said Oakland by 1.5. It is 1.5.
Here's why I'm not going to relax with the Packers. The Lions are terrible, and they won in Lambeau.
Of course.
They're not good at football.
No,
And they lost another guy yesterday.
You know what happened? I had money on Green Bay, and at some point I was almost, not that I was rooting for Detroit, but I was like,
you want to lose.
This would be bad. This would be bad. Maybe I'm just not betting enough is the problem. But or I'm really good human being. No, I'm not betting enough. But Detroit, I mean, Calvin Johnson never looked like he wanted to play for another team more than when he dropped that onside kick. Really, it's like, I'm not going to be here in a few weeks. That's it.
I want you guys to get another first rounder, a better
Prater,
first rounder.
What is going on? Prater has the field goal record, the longest field goal. He's missing extra points. It's like, how is this team? And then Green Bay was right in it.
I've been saying this for a couple weeks, and I'm going to say it more emphatically this week. I'm not going to relax with the Packers. Their receivers can't get open.
No, they can't.
Like, we had that game on most of the game. Every pass, it's like Rodgers throwing a pass with the guy jumping over the defensive back, or like the guy's right there. He has to throw it over the back shoulder. The guys are never, ever, ever open.
It is very strange. But
the guys who get open are the tight ends. These random tight ends I've never heard of. Those are the only guys in the team who can get open.
But they had like 47 yards rushing at home. You can't do that. That's not Packer football. You have to mix it up a little bit. But I
have some gluten-free secrets for Eddie Lacy.
What is it? Oh, really? To get back into shape?
I think maybe skip a few lunches. Get a Robex juice. It's like a beet and carrot juice.
Yeah.
I would definitely not eat bread. I would just get rid of bread, and I would cut out desserts for like 3 weeks.
What
and
about
at Thanksgiving,
cheese?
I wouldn't overdo it, Eddie Lacy.
There's so much with cheese in that in Wisconsin. What are you going to do? Here's the thing. You think Green Bay is going to right the ship at some point, right?
No.
I do too. Really?
I really don't. I don't think they're that good.
Let's go to that game.
It's now mid-November, and this is when we can really figure out who's good and not good. And Green Bay needed to win that game yesterday, and they blew it, and they didn't look good, and I'm not relaxing.
All right. They needed to win that game. They're at Minnesota this week. If they crush Minnesota, we're back on Green Bay now, right? Now it's like Green Bay's a top team. What do you think?
I believe in the Vikings. I have them by 2.5, only because I think Vegas half point just throws it the Packers' way because they know people love to bet on Green Bay.
Wait till you see what Vegas do with this one. I said
Green
Minnesota
Bay better
by
not be
1.
favored.
It's a pick.
Don't do it.
It's a pick.
What?
It's a pick right now.
That's absurd.
They're not done betting Green Bay.
I'll tell you one thing about Minnesota. Perfect cold weather team.
Yeah. And it's outdoor stadium.
Run the ball defense. I don't trust Bridgewater even a little. But the Packers defense, like, it's not like that's the 85 Bears.
You're gonna hate the Vikings. I could tell you're getting a lot
They're
of hate
break
mail.
my heart on
You're
Sunday.
A lot of hate
No,
mail
I
from the fans.
I want the Vikings to do
and
well.
Now you're back on. Now you're back on them.
I gotta say, I think I got too irrational with Bridgewater. I just did. I thought he was gonna cost them a game, and I kept waiting for it. Yeah, he doesn't have to do that much.
Yeah,
he's in the Trent Dilfer 2000 mode.
It's fine. That defense is rock solid.
I really like the defense.
Yep. Colts at Falcons. We didn't do this one yet.
No. I don't even really want to do it. You want to just skip it?
We could skip it.
The Falcons by 3.
This is the one I picked exactly. -6.
Oh, no luck.
No luck. Yeah. I'm
like-
not giving you a redo there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Although
we did Tampa Bay.
maybe healthy Matt Hasselbeck is better than injured Andrew Luck.
And then who's their backup? They have Charlie Whitehurst they brought in,
Charlie
I'm not
Whitehurst
kidding.
cost me
They just
$18,000 in 2010.
He did?
Yeah, remember when I was going to be in the top 5 in the Super Contest. I just needed Sam
Did he
Bradford
rob
and the
your
Rams.
house? Is that before you had Simply Safe?
It was
took
way
18
before I
grand.
had Simply Safe. Yeah, $18,000. Rams -3 at Seattle.
No.
Week 17.
Oh, right.
Super
right.
Contest.
Oh, right. Yeah. yeah.
The first time Sam Bradford really hurt me, hurt my feelings.
Was he the quarterback when New Orleans went there? It was like a 9-point wild card favorite.
Charlie Whitehurst.
Charlie Whitehurst.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he cost us there too. You have to
Charlie
add to that.
Whitehurst cost gamblers across America like $20 million in 2 weeks.
That was a lot.
Because he looks like Jesus.
Jets at Houston.
Jets at Houston. God. These games are awful. What's the best game?
The best
Vikings,
game would have
Packers
been
is good.
Denver at Chicago with the John
Yeah.
Fox thing, but now Osweiler and
I have the Jets by three at Houston, and I like the Jets.
we split this. I said 2. It's 2.5.
I think that line moves to 3 after Houston loses by 30 points tonight in Cincinnati.
Oh man. Well, with this week, Cincinnati will probably lose by 3 touchdowns, right? The way this week is going.
You think this is the Dalton gets hurt?
No, I don't. But this has just been a crazy Ronda Rousey week. The Jets defense, 1,200 yards passing allowed.
Do you still have your house? Did
I
Ronda
don't know.
Rousey cost your house? Are movers moving your furniture out right now?
Hour to hour thing. Mayflower's moving the family to
I loved
to
how you
Baltimore.
tried to play it off that the Rousey thing didn't hurt that much.
I
When
would have won the parlay. I'm saying. No, you said I put it with Green Bay and Denver. I didn't.
You love to throw in the high
I
can't
know.
lose favorites though.
I
in
had already
parlays.
lost with her by then. Kansas City at San Diego. Like I said, this was originally the Sunday night game. Now moved back to 4 Eastern, 4:05.
Chiefs -3. I think we ride the Chiefs for like 4 straight weeks, and then during one of those 4 weeks, Andy Reid will break our hearts, and we can complain about him on a Monday podcast. We'll get our money's worth.
You get this. It's Chiefs. I said Chiefs by 2.5. It is Chiefs by 3. Andy Reid 15-2 now off a bye. Shouldn't he be like just hired by teams to coach after a bye, like the Mariano Rivera? Just bring him in.
I like that idea.
Yeah, it's like drop your buff, Andy. You're going to Tampa this week. They were just on a bye. That's all he could do, right?
He really enjoys bye weeks.
Yeah. What do we do though? Andy Reid coming off a stunning win versus San Diego at home. Like 2 things that what do we do?
Yeah, San Diego's playing on the road in
Yeah.
San Diego.
Exactly. How dare they make them
Although
play it?
I can't imagine the Chiefs fans really traveling. That's not a game where I don't think you'll see 30,000 Chiefs fans in the game.
I don't even think it matters anymore. I don't know. All right. Speaking of home field advantages, San Francisco at Seattle. I mean, these are the afternoon games. What are you going to do? Why don't you take the kids to the mountains? It might be snow this weekend. KC at San Diego, San Fran at Seattle.
No way I'm doing that.
Those are the afternoon games.
I have the Seahawks favored by 9. I don't feel good about it.
You just beat me there. I said 8.5. It's 10.
Do you think there will be Legion of Boom T-shirts for sale for 50% off on the NFL Pro Shop?
No.
Because I'm definitely going to buy one and start wearing them ironically.
Really?
Legion of Boom. Go for 80 yards on us again.
It is rough. But
Can Richard Sherman write a first-person account of how the Legion of Boom died for MMQB?
The poor Legion of Boom. I think we're going to find out that Arizona is much better than people think.
Well, I was impressed yesterday.
That was a good win.
And Andre Ellington continues to be the best player in the league during the 7 plays a year that he plays.
Yeah, right.
But like, how many running backs could have turned the corner on that run and gone down the sidelines? Like 3?
Yeah. I was
And then
thinking
he'll get
maybe
hurt. He's hurt right now. He just got hurt getting out of his car.
I thought he should stop short at the 1. He almost gave
Would
him
have
a
been
chance
great.
to win.
Oh, I'll tell you one thing. If he had done that, Chris Collinsworth would have had a Collinsgasm.
Collinsgasm.
Oh, what a smart play by Andre Ellington. Oh!
I think Landon Collins had a Collinsgasm going for that Brady pick yesterday. And then this is a game they flexed to Sunday night, Cincinnati at Arizona.
That's a great flex.
It is a really good.
Hey, dog, that is a good flex right there.
But someone
really
is
good
paying
dog.
attention at NBC. That's for
Great
sure,
flex.
Mike.
Really, really good flex. Huge flex right there. Cards by 3.5. Let's hope this isn't a Super Bowl 50 preview.
I get this. I said 3, and it's 2.5.
What?
If Arizona had lost last night, I would go. I love them this game. I still like them.
The Cards are great at home. Why should I trust Andy Dalton in Arizona?
No, I don't know. Upati being out is big, but he's already cleared to play. So, by the way, Bill, if you don't, this is a good Sunday night game. But if you don't want to watch this, if you want to catch up on a new episode, it's called Daylight Shavings. It streams on Google Images. It's very strange.
Daylight Shavings. What is it?
Daylight Shavings. It's Zach Galifianakis and Rupert from Survivor, and they're bearded guys. They work in a clock shop, but they're actually fixed games, WNBA games. So that's where the shavings comes in. It's a drama though. It sounds like funny, but it's a drama. It's really good. Check it on Google Images.
That sounds great.
Daylight Shavings.
I've been watching on Amazon Prime.
What?
James Gandolfini's new show.
What?
Yeah.
How is that?
I know.
He hasn't been around forever.
That's the
Poor
amazing
guy.
thing about it. He died,
Oh,
and he's in
man.
a show on Amazon Prime.
I have to see that.
He apparently filmed it like 9.5 years ago. He's a college professor, and he has an affair.
Oh,
Yeah,
Okay.
with a student.
I see.
And then it's kind of like a dramedy, but yeah, it was filmed in like 2004.
And it's not at the Bada Bing.
Huh?
It doesn't go on the affair.
No. He's a poli-sci professor. It's called poli-sci, but it's SIGH.
Oh, I see.
That's apparently the title is what killed it.
I have to watch this.
Yeah.
There's just so much. TV to
Poli-sci.
watch.
It's on Amazon
too
Prime.
much, too
the
much.
late James Gandolfini. It's only 8 episodes.
Well, of course, he didn't have time to tape anymore.
Hey, Cuz, did you know that we created the Bill Simmons Podcast Network?
I heard that. Yeah.
So this week we launched our second channel. It's called Channel 33. It features former Grantlanders Chris Ryan, Andy Greenwald, and Juliet Littman, along with some players to be named later. Maybe even our friend Mad Brad.
I love those guys and gals.
And
Yeah.
a few cameos from yours truly. You'll get TV breakdowns from Chris and Andy on The Watch. You'll get reality TV with Juliet. And you'll get pop culture interviews with Andy on the Andy Greenwald Show. And you might even get some NBA gossip with Chris and Juliet on Sources Say. You can subscribe right now to Channel 33 on iTunes, SoundCloud, or Stitcher. That's Channel 33 from the BS
Nice.
Podcast Network. What I guess I'm
33
negotiating with
and-
Mad Brad.
33 in honor of the most over and underrated player of all time.
I can't
Larry
believe
Bird.
you said that.
Think you could give it 2 seconds of thought, and you'll agree with me.
You know, the whole time I wanted to talk about how Aikman is one of the 5 worst NFL Hall of
I
Famers.
don't care. That's
Okay.
fine.
All right.
That's fine.
But I mean, he played for like 8 years. Did he play for 8 years? 9 years?
He was, I don't know what quarterback rating you go by, but he's one of the most accurate passers of all time. So,
It's great. You had 5 All-Pro defensive
no.
linemen, Michael Irvin,
Okay.
Emmitt Smith.
well,
Oh,
do you
oh,
think
you don't like when the shoes
Do you
turn.
think his numbers would have been better if he didn't have the greatest running back? I don't care. I don't care anymore.
You care a little.
I'm a Romo guy. Buffalo at New England, Monday night. Oh, that's funny. Buffalo at New England.
We're definitely not covering this game.
Really? I think Vegas
Patriots
agrees
by
with me.
9, and the Bills have already covered.
I said 9 also. It started at 7.5. It's 7 now. 7? Come on.
They're going to send the house at Brady every time.
Come on. What
So-
did you win in Buffalo? You won by double digits.
We won by 8.
You did in
Yeah,
Buffalo?
Buffalo made the big comeback.
Oh, right. Yeah, you win by. Okay.
All right, so this Patriots season, they're 9-0, and yet they're 5-4 against the spread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the spreads are a little too high. I just think it's double digits here.
Hold on, I got one more crazy gambling stat for you. Minnesota,
8 in a row, right?
8 in a row
Forgot
against
to
the
say
spread.
that. Yeah.
8 in a row.
That's phenomenal.
What? I'd love to know what the record is.
Oh, for a consecutive. Interesting. It
You
can't
think
be more than
anyone's
10 or
covered
11.
10 in a row in football?
Someone's
Seems
gotta
impossible.
hit us up with that. No. I think there are teams that have not covered 10 times.
You and I both like Minnesota heading into the year. And then they lost that stupid game in San Francisco week one ended at like 2 a.m.
The late Monday game, yeah.
And threw everyone off their scent.
Yeah. But everyone loved Minnesota. I think that's what scared me off, right? Everyone said they were going to win 10 games. They're going to be a definite wild card team. And that's, you're right. That week one thing killed it.
I'd like to apologize formally and officially for talking you into the Houston Rockets being good this year.
Good. Thank you.
I don't know what happened.
Are we forgetting the Blue Jackets?
I'm not going to apologize for that. I think they might come around.
Have they won a game yet?
Might come around.
All right.
So my son's hockey team,
Yeah.
they played after the first period at the Kings game.
Mm-hmm. When?
On Saturday.
What?
Yeah.
They did?
It's like 20 kids out there for like 4 minutes.
Oh, that's great.
And he almost had a breakaway. Then he almost had a breakaway. And then he did get a breakaway. Came out of this whole pack and he scored at the Staples Center.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, I was there.
My son
I was there
scored
for the
at the
Islander game.
Staples
This
Center.
was Saturday. Oh, this is
Saturday.
That's insane.
And then Lucic scored in the same game as his new favorite player. And then he met Lucic after the game. And this isn't even like one of the 7 coolest things that's happened to him. I'm like mad at my own son.
What a spoiled brat.
He really is. He's had so many great life experiences.
Yeah.
The highlight of my entire childhood was when Jim Rice went to a Celtic game and in the most surly way possible, autographed a piece of paper without ever looking up at me. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me until I was 10. And my son scored at the Staples Center.
That is amazing.
It's like impossible.
These kids they have too much.
Yeah.
I had Buddy Harrelson owned the former Met shortstop grade, owned a batting cage around the corner from me. And I asked him what it was like to fight with Pete Rose. And he said, I don't want to talk about it. That was a highlight. I think that was a highlight of my young sport running with it.
Never heard that story.
Yeah, that was it. Let me just throw one more thing at it with the Patriots. Our friend Adam Carolla, an all-time jinx, bet a substantial amount of money on the Patriots to win the Super Bowl.
Like a week ago, right?
Yeah.
But he did this last year and we won the Super Bowl.
He did, but it can't happen again. Now, let me just say something else about Adam Carolla. As I'm driving here to do the podcast, I usually watch football with him on Sundays, but it's like caught between games and I had to watch my kid's flag game. So I said, hey, I'm not going to be able to go to the studio, to the Kimmel studio to watch, but someone else will open it up. I get a call that there's a blue Mercedes there left overnight by someone who signed in under my name. It's got to be Carolla. Lid on Mangaria. I'm saying it right now. I left the car there. I'm sure he'll talk about it on his podcast, so don't worry about cutting it here.
He left the car?
There's a car. Someone left a car there, like parked. I don't know what they did. I have to now take care of this. Well, we can't watch football anymore.
I'll tell you, I've been watching his new show on Hulu.
What is it?
You're not watching his new sitcom on
Hulu?
Hulu?
So much. What is this?
It's very autobiographical. It's about a guy who hosts a podcast.
Oh.
And all the wacky people in his life.
Oh, he should be good at that. What's it called?
It's called The Adam Carolla Show.
All right, that I've seen.
It's on Hulu, but check that out. Our buddy Adam has his own show on Hulu. It's really good.
Also, check out Jimmy Kimmel Live, Liam Hemsworth, Tracy Ellis Ross, and Jewel and the gang. We have our mashup Monday. Jewel and Cool and the gang. Later in the week, see? Josh Hutcherson, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Amber Heard, Melissa McCarthy, and One Direction on Thursday. And check me out at the Cousin Sal on Twitter. Sports Center Thursday night, Friday morning on the East Coast. My best bet's hitting 70%. I was 2-1 last week.
You're 2-1? Oh, you had the Jags.
I had the Jags.
We love the Jags.
Yeah, we did. Should have done that mid-range dog.
We were trying to think of a name for Juliet's show, and I wanted to see if Coolio could be on it. It could be Coolio and Juliet.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think we can get Coolio?
I think you could probably get Coolio.
Like, we just have to. He'd have to tape like the intro, and that's it. And we call Coolio and Juliet.
That's awesome. Yeah, cool. That
but
was
I don't know if
That's
he's
all
alive.
We have to do. No, we had him on the show a couple of years ago.
Or if there's somebody named Romeo out there, the obvious Romeo and Juliet would be good. But it's almost like too easy.
Yeah,
it needs to be EO, something that ends with EO. Like Maceo and Juliet or something.
Not Little Romeo and Juliet?
Little Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
Does Little Romeo do podcasts?
He's big. He's really big now. He's fat.
Thanks again to Simply Safe for sponsoring today's episode. Thousands of people seeking home security get ripped off every day. Huge checks and long-term contracts with no way out. Why get robbed when you're trying to keep your home from getting robbed? Try Simply Safe. It's the best way to protect your home. No contracts, 24/7 protection. For $15 a month, less than half what most companies charge. Visit simplysafebill.com for an exclusive 10% offer. Simplysafebill.com. Thanks to SeatGeek, the presenting sponsor of the Bill Simmons podcast, and my favorite app for purchasing tickets to sporting events, concerts, whatever else. Thanks to HBO for giving me my own television show that launches next spring. And subscribe to Channel 33 on iTunes, SoundCloud, or Stitcher. Back on Wednesday with Chuck Klosterman. Cuz, good job by you.
Good job by you, Billy.
We're banging the Vikings.
I was just thinking. I think we're going to take Peterson at 50-1, and
instead of betting on the Vikings, why can't we start? What's the thing Corolla used to fund his movie?
Was it crowdfunder or?
Yeah, why can't we crowdfund from the Viking fans to get us not to bet on the Vikings this week?
Oh, that's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah. If we raise $2,000 on a crowdfunding thing, we won't bet on the Vikings.
It all
ruin
goes
your
south
season.
from here, Vikings fans. If we put even $1 on your team,
we should tease the Vikings with Rousey,
I'm
the
leaving.
Blue Jackets, and the Rockets. All right, cuz. Thank you.
All right. See ya.
We about this bitch. Anytime y'all want to see me again, rewind this track right here, close your eyes, and picture me rolling.